Okay, hey guys, it's Adrian, and we're talking about another Otome today. I have finished 9 RIP. I managed to finish it before 2024, and I don't know when this video will come out because I kind of procrastinate on them. So probably sometime in 2025. So I finished it before the end of the year, which was my goal because I was like, I'm gonna finish it. Um, Not gonna finish Raymania at the end of the year. I have like 2 days. No, not gonna happen. Got other games to play, like Final Fantasy 14 has a chaotic raid that's driving me crazy. But anyway, back to 9 RIP. So I finished the game, and I'm here to give my thoughts overall in the game. So let's start with what is 9 RIP about. So 9 RIP, 9 rest in peace. Rest in peace. It has to do with death. 9 because there are 9 love interest routes, and almost all the routes have like two good endings, a heavenly end, a godly end, and then at least one bad end. Some routes have like more than one bad end, and the secret route doesn't have a bad end. So there's 9 guys. Now, the UI is very nice. It fits the title. It looks kind of spooky, kind of ghost-like, rest in peace. We're talking about like the supernatural world. My only gripes with this is it's not a spooky game. If you're thinking it's a spooky game, it's not. And they released it in Halloween, and I think Halloween was still a good month to release it for the theme in, because overall, like, the game covers ghosts and demons and spirits, otherworldly creatures, grudges. Like, it goes into these supernatural elements that are usually horror and spooky, but the game is not actually really that spooky. So you have 9 guys, 9 routes. They're split across 4 common routes. So like you see behind me where it has like the yellow path, the yellow like rectangle thing, the purple, the blue, and the red, those symbolize the 4 different paths, okay? The yellow, it looks like, I'm pretty sure that's supposed to be the spirit world. So that's the common route where you go with spirits. That one actually has 3 characters behind it. And then the other 3 paths only have 2 each. So purple, that's hell. Blue, it might be like the one where you're like more around town. I think red is the school. So there's 4 common routes. I'm not going to go into each of the common routes in description, but essentially, like, in the spirit world, that one is kind of different from the other 3. The other 3, which is like hell, the the common story that's more set in your common town, and then the one where you're in school, you are spirited away by a god. The god is trying to help you. You are spirited away to like hell, or being in the ghost realm. I'm trying not to call it spirit realm, but the ghost realm with other ghosts because you died. Or you're kind of like in the school setting, you are sent to like the ghost realm, kind of. The school is shut down and locked down. There's some weird stuff, magical stuff going on, but it's like the human world and the spirit world are kind of overlapping a bit, and you're the only human that gets trapped with the spirits. Okay, so the school one actually has some spooky moments. Like, don't get me wrong, it has some spooky moments. The rest really don't. So you'll be fine. And even then, the school has spooky moments. They're not that spooky. Like on a spook meter, like maybe it goes up to 4, but really not that bad. And then for the spirit world, the yellow path, that one you're not actually spirited away. Instead, I guess I need to move my controllers more. Instead, you go to the temple, and the priest guy there notices that you have a little spirit hovering around you, so he tries to exorcise it. And instead, makes you fix it so you can see them. So the little god that's been like spiriting you away in the other routes and watching you your entire life, you get to interact with him in that route, plus another spirit. And a spirit that is your guardian spirit, and then another spirit that is like the spirit board spirit, like a Ouija board spirit. So, okay, so see, like, from the menu, you would think this game is on the spooky side. It's really not. So I'm a chicken. I watch spooky movies, but I close my eyes a lot. You'll be fine. Okay, so you see, here's all the guys. We got Kureha, Hibiki. So these two are from the route where you're trapped at a school. Then we have Koyo, and we have Sina. And this is where you're on the route that you died, and you're a ghost, and you're living kind of in your town. Then we have Minami, and we have Seiya. Minami is a short king. We have Seiya, they are the Hell Route, and then Yukimaru, Koharu, and Toka, who is the god who's been spiriting you away in the other routes, following you your entire life. These three are from the Spirit World route. So Toka is kind of like the secret route. He's a secret character. Like, Toka won't appear on your screen until you actually unlock his route and do it. In order to do Toka, you have to do Minami's route. Ugh, sorry, you're getting in the way. Minami's route, Yukimaru, and Koharu. So you have to do those three to unlock Toka to even do it. Yeah, so you don't have to do the rest. While playing, I pretty much just went in this order. I think it works pretty well to just go in this order and save Toka for last. There are questions I had in pretty much all the other routes, and Toka, finally kind of closes them up. One of the reasons Minami's route is actually kind of like a requirement of Toka is Minami's route, I feel like, answers the most questions outside of Toka. So, I did feel like his route was very good. Now, I will say, these routes, like the common routes, just the common routes, but the first three common routes, if you go in this order, were pretty interesting. Like, dealing with ghosts and you're alive, dealing with ghosts and you're dead, so you are a ghost, dealing with demons and hell. These three were interesting. These last three guys in the spirit realm, common route, where you're basically just, you're alive, you're human, and you're dealing with spirits, and you're trying to figure out what you want to do with your life. This common route was incredibly boring. Like, I thought it was very boring. There's really not that much going on other than help the main character figure out what she wants to do with her life. And it just, could be better. So let's look at the pretty guys. So, design-wise, I like Kureha. But I didn't find his route the most interesting. So like, design-wise, yeah, he's great. Route-wise, I was like, you're okay. Okay, this is Hibiki. Design-wise, I don't like Hibiki. Sorry. Route-wise, his route was pretty interesting and a little bit on the spooky meter, and he's a yandere, and he kind of wants to, like, kill you a little bit. He's crazy. So, theoretically, he should be, like, number one for me, and he's not. And I think he was kind of a little bit of a whiny baby at times, and that really turned me off. I'm just gonna be frank. Okay, this is Koyo. He is a streamer guy ghost who got murdered by his parasocial viewer, which I just found this very hilarious in this day and age of like, oh my gosh. I genuinely liked his route. Probably number 3 for me, so we'll get to it, but he was my 3rd favorite route. He's just a genuinely nice guy, and he's trying to take care of you, and I liked his endings. And if you play the game and you get his endings, you'll understand why I like his endings. And then we got Sina, who is a dead K-pop, a dead J-pop idol. I almost said K-pop. J-pop. He is a singer, and he is dead. He doesn't quite realize it right away, so that's kind of heartbreaking. And I have a thing for idols, right? Who doesn't like idols? So I liked his route a lot. He's number 2 for me. And it's also just fun to see like him and Koyo interact. They're in the same route together because they were really good friends in real life. So I really like to see their interactions in the con routes too. So he's number 2 for me. And this is Manami. And yeah, you see that face? He's crazy. He's a demon and he kind of wants to eat your soul. And he's my favorite. Design-wise, he's really not my favorite. I do like purple, so that helped. But I like tall guys and he's a little bit of a short king. But you know what? Ultimately, I enjoyed his route the most because he's a yandere and he's like, I'm gonna kill you, and he falls in love with you instead, and it's like, ah. So I like the crazy ones. So I liked his route a lot. His route was number 1. And this is Seiya. Seiya is like guardian of hell, kind of like a Grim Reaper a little bit. I don't remember exactly what they were called, but I liked his route. I thought it was pretty interesting, if I'm being honest. And seeing him and Nami interact was very, very fun. I don't really like his character design. And he kind of is love bombing. He's like, he falls in love with you really fast. Okay. Not as love bomby as Toka. We'll talk about that more. But he kind of love bombs you a little bit. And he's like, I love you. And it's like, oh, okay. But he has an interesting route. So I did like him quite a bit. Now I think part of that helped was just the common route, since it's in hell, was probably the most interesting common route, I thought, because just I like fantasy, I like otherworldly thing. I think I don't like slice of life as much. So okay, this is Yukimaru. Design-wise, he's okay. I'm not a super blonde yellow guy. It's a little bit too much yellow. He is your guardian spirit. He is very pure. He's very angelic. He's also a little bit childlike, and he's kind of whiny. I enjoyed his route. It was cute, and I liked him, and it was fun, and he was sweet, but he's also kind of whiny and annoying at times. So, but he just genuinely care about you and want you to be happy, and he's there to guide you to be happy. So that's kind of sweet. Okay, this is Koharu. He is the spirit board spirit, and you mess it up in the common route, so he has to haunt you, but he doesn't really haunt you. So he is a tsundere, and he's like, I'm not in love with you, but he actually is in love with you, and it's quite entertaining to watch. I really would have liked his route to be longer. So some of these guys I really liked. I would have really liked longer routes. So I also, again, he's a very purple coded character. He's purple everywhere, right? So I like purple. So, and he's tall. So design wise, I liked him a lot. So he is kind of like, so far, he's the one I've liked. I've liked the design and I've liked the route. It's very cute. So I like him. And then last is Toka. I hate Toka. Toka looks like a child. He's also a creep. He loves bomb you, and he's like, I've loved you since you were 4, and that just turned me off, and I could never recover from it during this route. Luckily for me, his route is extremely short, very short, and it just goes from like, love you to, oh, sure, I guess I'll love you. In like, snap. So I just, ugh. I also don't like the fact that Toka looks like a child for 90% of the route. He does get like an adult form later that you see in a single CG. And I'm like, oh, or no, in 2 CGs. I'm like, oh, he's kind of hot. I can work with this. And then it's like, no, I really can't, because he's still like, I've been watching you and stalking you and loving you since you were 4. And I can't do it. Can't do it. You know what? There are some things that I can be like, it's a game and, it's not real, but I just, ick. I couldn't do it. So, and then these are the other photos, and basically every common route, you unlock a photo with the 2 guys, the guys of that route, which I thought was super fun. So here's Koyo and Sina. So this was not my favorite common route, but I guess my favorite to see them like interact. It was so fun to see them being like best friends. Hell was the favorite common route just because it was interesting. It was fun to watch Sei and Minami fight. Um, and the spirits were kind of fun, seeing all of them interact. And then, of course, seeing Kureha and Hibiki interact was fun. So, you know, overall, the game was fun. It's enjoyable. It's not a banger for me. Overall, the game's not a banger for me. So I like the artist a lot. It's the same artist who did Cupid Parasite. So I absolutely love the art. I don't love the coloring style for the game. Like, I really love Cupid Parasite because it's like, bam, purple bright colors everywhere. A good photo. Freaking out the entire game. The main character is also like 16 or 17. She's not a particularly strong main character. And her troubles are very much teenager troubles, which I'll be honest, I'm too old for. Like, I just wanted to kind of shake her and be like, grow the fuck up. I'm not a nice person. But yeah, she's worried about what she's going to do for the rest of her life. And she's 16, 17, and she needs to figure out to pick what school she's going to go to for college, which I know in Japan it's very different than the US. So, like, this can actually, like, the college you choose can derail or make where you go, from my understanding of how the college system works. You got to study for tests, you get in, and usually, typically, if you get into a good school, you're guaranteed a job somewhere afterwards. So it is a big deal, but also, like, I don't know, I felt a little too old for the storyline aspect of, like, oh my god, I can't figure out what I'm going to do for the rest of my life, and not turn in my little sheet of paper. I don't know. So I didn't like that aspect of the story. All the other parts of the story, it's like the actual romance routes, the interest in like Japanese occult folklore stuff going on. I thought those were pretty interesting, but just did not super like the main character we're playing as. Just I prefer to play as kind of a stronger person. So like Cupid Parasite, I felt like Lynette was a very strong main character. Even Olympia Sore, I felt like she was kind of docile at times, but also had a lot more gumption and gumbo than than 9-Rep's main character. So, kind of other gripes, 9 guys. After playing Charade Maniacs, which I still have not finished, which has 9 guys, and now playing this game, which has 9 guys, I do not like games with 9 guys. The game is usually the same length. It feels like it's the same length as other games that only have like 5 guys. And what they're doing is the routes are shorter for the individual guys. That's how it feels to me. If someone has like data on this to back it up of like how long stuff is in comparison between games, I would love to know. But it did not feel like any like a character's route was really that long. So for me, I would rather have less guys and longer individual routes, so you feel like you're growing and getting into a relationship more with them than like they just felt too short. Now, I guess for like a game completion wise, I guess it's kind of nice to like quickly get through a route. But I don't know, it didn't feel great from my perspective. Another issue I had was with the 4 different common routes. I do appreciate them doing new things. Don't get me wrong, I did find it kind of interesting, but I felt like they could have probably built a better story on a more solid foundation of maybe like 2 common routes, or just stick with the normal 1 common route. I don't know. All the 4 stories feel very disconnected. They have like kind of similar threads that connect them, but like I don't think there's a single route where you meet all 9 guys, and I didn't like that as much. Again, that may also be potentially an issue of you put 9 guys in a single route. Now, granted, I will say this. Charade Maniacs does do it kind of better. Like, Charade Maniacs has 9 guys, and they have a common route, and then it splits into like 3 individual team routes, and then after the team routes, you get the actual character routes. But 9-Rep did do better than Charade Maniacs, is that all of the characters have at least well, except for Toga, all the characters have like 3 ends. They have 2 good endings, Heavenly Godly, and then a bad ending. Some have more. Toka only has the 2 good endings. So Trade Maniacs for most of the guys only had 1 ending, which I wasn't a super fan of either. So I haven't finished that, so I don't know how the last 3 guys are gonna go. They might have different endings. I don't know. But so I just feel like when you start shoving 9 guys into a single game, you're having to sacrifice quality somewhere. And it's either gonna be like the number of route endings you have, or the length of the routes. And I would just prefer less guys. So I will probably still buy games that have 9 guys in them because I want the Otome genre to survive, but they're gonna go to the bottom of the backlog for now on, just because I'm just not enjoying it as much. Let's see, that common routes. Another issue I had was with the endings. Like all of the like you're dating supernatural creatures, you're dating ghosts and demons and spirits. They cannot be with you. Like a lot of the endings are you spend your entire human life alone until you die and then you reconnect in the afterlife with said guy. Or you die and you get to spend eternity with them after you die. And I'm just like, these are not good endings. These are not what I consider good. Okay, so I didn't like the really most of the endings. I was kind of like, oh, um, and I don't know what would have made me happy. I think I would have liked one of the endings where you just, I guess, like never get with them. But I hate the idea of the main character. Like, so you dying right away and end up with the person. I'm like, okay, I can kind of roll with that, but I'm like, okay, you're gonna traumatize your family so you can be with the guy. And it's not like the main character never kills herself or anything like that. So it's not like you're purposely trying to. You just end up dying because of some other reason. Um, but like the other endings where it's like you spend your entire human life alone, you can't ever fall in love with someone else because you're waiting for that other person. Like that is, I don't know, horrifying in my eyes. Like that's a bad ending. Um, so I had mixed feelings on the endings. I really was like, oh, like I enjoyed the route, the journey to the end, and I did not like the end. And the entire time during the journey, I was like, how's this gonna work? How's this gonna go? Like, um, so there were like a couple people who had like better endings. Like Toka had some good endings, and Koyo had some good endings. But the rest of them, I was like, I really don't like these endings. Um, so yeah. Uh, oh boy. Another thing that was kind of interesting they tried to do is they kind of had, it seemed like an insanity meter. Like it seemed like some of the choices I made would increase your insanity. But I didn't really see how that affected things very much. So like it's cool, but I don't think it was implemented super well. Maybe I just wasn't paying attention, but I didn't feel like the only thing I could think is like the more insanity, usually the choices that led you more towards insanity would lead you more towards the bad ends. But most of the like bad ends weren't like you go insane. It was usually like you get murdered. So yeah, that was a little weird. So now I'm saying a lot. Art's fantastic. CGs are fantastic, though I do think like the amount of CGs per guy doesn't feel good. Again, this kind of goes back to the issue of I would rather have 5 guys with a bunch of CGs than 9 guys with the number of the amount. So I do really wish that we had more CGs for this. So overall, like, where would I put this? I don't know. Probably like 7 out of 10. I don't think it's a super stellar Otome game. I think it's worth playing. I enjoyed playing it. Like, don't get me wrong, I enjoyed my time playing it. Would I ever replay this? Probably not. Probably not, no. It's just 9 guys is too much. The routes aren't long enough. I'd rather just like, let's see, how many guys does Cube Parasite has? I guess like Cube Parasite had like 6 technically in the first game. It's up to 7, the fan disc. but like the Fandis, I think extra route was kind of short, and the 6 route in the original game was on the shorter side, if I remember correctly. So I think 5 guys, and maybe a shorter secret 6 route is kind of a sweet spot for me. I think once you get more than that, it's just you're sacrificing somewhere, and I would rather have more dedicated time with my love interests, like get to know them better than what is being shown. So yeah, 7 out of 10. Not amazing, not great. It's okay. I mean, I did like the art style. So like if you really like Cupid Parasite and you really like the artist, you know, I think that's a good reason to play this one, to support the artist. I'm planning at some point I'm going to get Cafe Enchanted. Enchante? Cafe Enchante? Because the same artist for these two, for Cupid Parasite in this game, did that one. So I will play that one purely for the art. But yeah, it's an okay Otome. It is worth your money. And especially like if you can catch it on sale, either on Nintendo eShop or keep an eye on Amazon. I get Otome Switch games off Amazon for like good prices all the time. Not usually right when they come out, but you know, give it a year and it's like, bam, you might find it for like $30, $25. And that's a great price. So anyway, that's it for this video because I'm blabbing. I'm going into willy-nilliness. But I would love to hear your thoughts. Who's your favorite? My favorite's Manami. I would love to hear who your favorite is if you could pick one. I know some people can't pick a favorite, and that's okay. And I would love to hear your thoughts on the game. Like, did you finish it? Did you like it? Did you drop it? You know. But at the end of the day, thank you to Idea Factory and Keymailer for giving me a review copy back in October. I am now done with the game, and I finally got this review out. And just in time for 2025, when we're going to be getting like, what, Hanakare, Insomanaje in like January, February 2025 by P-Cube. And then Idea Factory also has like 2 games coming out soon. I don't remember if we have due dates for them yet, but we have like a slew of new Otome games coming out in 2025. Like, it's a good time to be an Otome girly, to be honest. We get lots of games. We're getting fed. But I would love to hear what you think, and I hope you have a great day, and talk to you later, and bye-bye.